Yeah, as beautiful, as wonderful as it is, that the dream of most persons is actually to come, relocate to Canada to study, for work, for immigration. Yet, many applications are being denied on a daily basis. What could be the reasons for this? And in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you um, three main reasons why applications are being denied. This will be the part one. So I want you to watch out for part two. I'm going to go into other reasons as well too. But today's video, we're going to be looking at just three reasons, and this is actually one of the most common reasons, most especially for students that are actually coming here to study. So if you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and also don't forget to like this video, share, comment whatever questions you have, and I'll be sure to answer to you. My name is Essie, and I'm currently a master's student here in Canada. So basically, from experience, I'm not a licensed immigration consultant, but from experience, most of the reasons that I've seen that visa officers deny people their visas is based on these three main reasons. Number one is the purpose of visit. So basically, so for the purpose of visit, we are actually talking about the fact that you're coming to Canada for a reason, right? So for example, I'll be using most especially students because that's one thing I've been able to relate with and I have so much experience in. I'm also going to be talking a little bit about um visitors visa, but I'll do more on PR much later. So basically it's purpose of visa. So you're coming here, you're coming to study, right? Now you have no clear intention, so you're trying to give the VO an impression that you have dual intent. That means you're coming here to study and you also have intent of immigrating. Now even if that is your goal, which is actually a wonderful goal, you do not want to make that obvious in your application. You want to make it seem that yes, I want to, because reason is because people come here and get distracted, maybe some things, and they forget the main reason why they're here, maybe to study or to visit. So most times the visa officer denies the person that ensure your reason for coming here is cogent. Now, one of the main ways that people fail in this is the letter of explanation, or your study plan if you're coming here for studies. So most people write very vague. I did that mistake as well. I wrote very vague, begin to write things that are not relevant, right? So you want to make sure that that letter, because for my country, Nigeria, Canada don't do interviews, so most times they always that letter is like your way to be able to sell yourself. That letter is like your way to be able to let the VO know that yes, this is the reason why I'm coming here. So you have to make sure that you have to be exceptional in that letter. You have to be exceptional. So it's not really about the length, it's about what you've written in there. So if you're coming here for studies, why are you coming here for study? Why do you want to, okay, for example, I'm coming here to do my MBA program, for example, and why do I want to come here and do my MBA program? Why am I not doing it in my home country? What do I want to do with an MBA program after I graduate? What are my future plans? What do I have back at home that will make me want to come back home? What am I hoping to learn when I'm doing my MBA program? So that's to show that you have a defined course of study, you have a defined goal. But whereby what most people do is the fact that they begin to say, oh, I want to study MBA. MBA is a very good course. It will help me. They don't really have a clear and a concise. They begin to tell stories. I did that mistake as well. I turned my study plan into a motivational speech, all those many things. And that's not what the visa officer is looking at. They're looking for facts. They're looking for clear and concise facts. They're looking for truth. That's majorly what they're actually looking out for. So you have to make sure that what are the benefits of what you're coming to do here. So even if you're coming for a visit, why are you coming for a visit, and how will that visit impact you? So you're coming here to see, you're coming here for a conference or something like that. So most people, even when they have the money, so it's not most times it's not really about the money. They have the money, but they are not able to prove the purpose. So imagine somebody that already have a bachelor's degree, then coming here for a diploma. How do you want to prove that you are not coming here to the visa officer will like, your purpose of coming to Canada is obviously not to study, because it's, if you come here for a diploma, you don't have any cogent reason. So make sure that you have a cogent reason. You're able to tell the benefit of why you're coming to Canada, be it visitor or be it student visa, and make sure that you're able to state your ultimate goal, and that can be very, very good in your letter of explanation. So even if you have, I've seen people that maybe their profile was not so strong, so maybe for example the man had like he had a, someone had a very huge study gap, coming here for again for a bachelor's degree or something, but his letter of explanation was very strong, that it was very convincing. So that letter is one of the most important things to prove that, okay, your purpose of study, your purpose of visit. Then the second thing that most the visa officer usually deny people on is money. Like, okay, it's finances. So he's not, now when I talk about finances, most people always come with the belief system that finances is when you have, thousands of dollars stocked up somewhere, so you can just present the bank statement and be like, see, I have this amount of money. No, it doesn't work that way. I've seen a lot of people that have been denied even despite the fact that they have millions in their accounts. So you have to understand how these people think. Now, what are they looking out for in terms of financial? This now, so many people, I have money in my account. Why was I still denied based on financial reasons? So the visa officer is looking at number one, the fact that it's not sufficient. So basically, we're going to go into how to what you need to, how much costs the minimum amount of money you need to have in your account. So most persons have a specific amount, but it's not, it doesn't work that way. You don't have to have a specific amount. There's a way to calculate it, and that should not be the only way in the only money in your account. So most times the visa officer believes that the funds are not sufficient enough. So maybe you only have for just your school fees, your living expenses are not there, or maybe you only have for just, it's just very little. You understand? So like that's if he believes is not sufficient enough, so you want to make sure you do your calculations very well and present a bank balance that is more, that I always recommend more than sufficient, even if it's just by like $500. At least try to make sure that it's more than sufficient enough for you to cover your expenses. Also, why people are being denied based on financial reasons is because the visa officer believes you will not have access to that finances. So for example, you're using maybe your uncle as your sponsor, and your uncle, your visa officer knows that your uncle also have responsibilities. He may not be convinced that you have access to that fund. He will feel like, okay, your uncle is just there to, you might get to Canada and he might say something like, oh, I'm sorry, I have family issues. But if it were to be someone like your own father or your own mother or your brother and your sister, he believes that the bond is stronger. So even if you're going to use maybe an external or a third party, so most likely someone that's not your direct relative is usually a third party, please try as much as possible to make sure that you make the application strong, that you have access to this fund, and the funds is not just on paper. So even if you have like $100 million on your bank statement, if the VO is not convinced that you have access to this fund, he will still deny you based on insufficient finances. Also, the fact that he also believes now that why most people are denying based on financial reason is because there is no verified source of income. So now, because of money laundering, it's usually believed that most people, they just put in money there, like lump sum of money, and there's no verified, they don't know where this money is coming from. Whoever, even if you're sponsoring yourself, how is the money coming about? Are you robbing? Are you stealing? So you have to make sure that as you're putting in your bank statement, try and put in the source of the income. So if you are working, put in your employment details. If you are If you are doing business, put in your business details, your business registration documents, evidence that you are actually doing that business and the money comes from that business. Or if you're working, put in your pay slip, your employment details, everything that needs to be put into, or whoever it is that actually sponsoring you. It might not be you, it might be whoever it is that is sponsoring you. Please try as much as possible, because when you submit only just a statement and there is no verified source of income, most times they usually deny on based on insufficient funding. So because they believe that there is no source of income for this, they just believe maybe the money was put in there for the visa sake and to be removed after. Another major reason is also because of lump sum. Now, whereby you just, maybe the account have not been fully funded, like maybe it has been little amount of money, and all of a sudden you just discover that you put in like huge amount of money at once. It will raise a red flag. And if there is no source of that huge amount of money, where it's coming from, it will raise a red flag. Okay, so the visa officer believe that this money will be removed afterwards. It's just borrowed for visa purposes. They will still deny you based on financial reasons. So what I usually tell most people is the fact that even if you're going to put it, like some persons are maybe like real estate investors, so most times they deal in big transactions, right? So even if you're going to put in that kind of money in maybe lump sum of money close to when you're applying for your visa, please make sure you make an explanation. So for example, if you bought a property that you put huge amount of money into the account at once, but at least try to provide source that you bought property, or maybe you saw rather you sold the property, and this is the source, maybe like a deed of assignment, maybe certificate of occupancy, all those land documents to prove that yes, this is where the money came from and all that. So we're going to go to the third reason why most visa applications are denied, and the third reason is home ties. Like home ties usually most like so home ties meaning that they believe, now this is most times for even for visitors visa as well, it applies to them because they believe that you don't have anything sufficient to bring you back home, or you're a single man, you are 32 years old, you have nothing, you have no family. They believe that you just want to use Canada to abscond, and so they will deny you based on you have no ties. So sometimes the way it's usually written in the rejection letter is usually you are not due to your family ties in Canada and in Nigeria. So most people get confused. They'll be like, I don't have any family in Canada. Why did I get denied? So most times they said either you don't have family ties here, or you have family ties in Canada and you have nothing back at home that will bring you back to your home country. So you have to prove that you have ties. So how do you prove that you have enough home ties? Your job is a good tie, you have a job, so you're coming here to visit, or you're coming here for a purpose, or maybe for a short visit. Please prove that you have something back at home, because they will still deny you based on, even if you have the funding, you have everything, you'll still deny you based on the fact that you have nothing to. So try to attach that to your application, that yes, you have a job you're doing here and you were going to come back. So if you took a study leave off your job, I think you should also attach that to your application. And also the fact that your family is also a very strong home tie. So your wife, your children, your husband, they're very, very strong home ties, because they believe that you don't want to leave your family here. Also, if you also have maybe parents that rely on you, so those of us that are no, not you, us that are actually singles, and if you like and you're not married, you don't have kids, at least you have a family, you have a mother, you have a father, you have a brother, you have a sister. Try as much as possible to prove that you have something doing here. So even if you don't even have a family, let me use that word as the example, even if you have a family, you also have properties, assets, investments that you have sufficient doing back at home. Even if you don't have that, you can also use maybe like volunteer, like maybe if you're part of an organization that is maybe not really a formal organization, maybe like a club. So for instance, you have something like a business club, and you're active in that business club in your where you're coming from. Of course, you can be able to use that as a means. So let's say what someone did was, she said she was actually the vice president, and she said she would like to come back to that her business club or continue her position. And while she will be away, her assistant vice president will take over that her position. So that is one of the as well another way of proving that you have strong ties back at home. And back at home, so that you have your job, your assets, your properties, or maybe you don't have, you can, your parents' properties, your brother's properties that you feel like, okay, they believe that children are inheritance. We inherit our parent properties, right? So basically your parent properties are indirectly your own property as well. So they believe that, okay, your parent having property would also bring you back home to your country. So property, job, your assets, investments, fund, mutual funds, businesses, volunteers, training, so anything to prove that you have something doing. So don't just apply without proving that you are well sufficient back at home. If you cannot prove that, they will deny you based on your ties. Also, sometimes they also deny based on the fact that if you have more relatives here in Canada, they also believe that most times because of your relatives that are here in Canada, you will know what to come back home. So that's what I'm saying. You have to still prove that you have ties back in your home country. So that is a 3. So for the next one, for part 2, we're going to also deal with another 2 or 3 reasons for rejection of visas. So I hope you guys found this video very helpful. Please, if you did, please like and share and subscribe. And also don't forget to let me know if you have any question in the comment section below. I'll be more than willing to answer or rather do a video on it. Take care. Bye.